All right, Alpha fam, let's do a quick market update before we begin. I do want to say that nothing in this video is financial advice. Everything is for educational purposes only. This is just my own analysis on the market. Also, if you're new to this channel, if you can please like, comment, and subscribe, we really do appreciate all of the new support. Now let's get into this market, guys. So we had a weird Sunday. It was, I call it the T-horn pattern. It looks like a bull. Let me look on a smaller time frame. I can show you guys. I did it twice yesterday, where basically we make these moves like it looks like a bullhorn. So you have this like horn that comes here, it goes down, it V's up, it kind of comes back down, and then it's like this is the other horn, and then boom, we broke off. And then we broke up, and then the crazy part was after we did it, we came back down and we did the same exact pattern again, guys. Here's the bullhorn, come back down, V shape, there's your other horn, comes back up. It's a printed pattern that you can see in this market, guys, that happens, that market makers are extracting liquidity. All right, so they're sweeping lows, they're knocking out longs, they're sweeping this liquidity, and they do this because this is how they create market structure. And I'm also in the camp, I think it's kind of bullish, and I'll explain why I think it's bullish. When you get these moves, these sweeps on Sundays, it's usually because the market makers know there's going to be some type of data or something coming out that they're going to use to push price up. And because there's so many shorts that are up here right now, I think the market has been doing basically sweeps both ways, trying to get as much of this liquidity out as the way as they can. With that being said, there's a couple things I am seeing concerning. This kind of could look like a bear flag, to be honest with you guys. I'm not saying that this necessarily has to play out like this. It is. Now, from a bullish structure, yes, we are making higher highs and higher lows. I just look for different patterns that could potentially play out, so I'm aware of these different types of things that could potentially happen. Now, we have a pretty big week with data this week, guys. We have JOLTS coming out tomorrow. We have Fed interest rate is on the 10th. So honestly, guys, we could see some volatility today just because we do have interest rate decisions in a couple of days, and we tend to dump into those events. And if you actually come over here to Google, you can type in Fed interest rate decision, or actually let's do this. FOMC meeting schedule 2025. So like, let's just go back to the last couple. We'll start with July 29th to the 30th. Let's see what the market was doing on July 29th and the 30th. We come over here, we're looking at the 29th. Look here, look, the 28th, look, 26th, 27th, look, 28th, 29th. We dumped, retested that 50, and then we made new all-time highs. Let's look at the next date. What did we do that after that? 16th to the 17th. We come over here, we can go to the 16th to the 17th. Here we go, 16th, look, 17th, we push down, we try to make a move up the 18th, and then we dump afterwards, and then we made new all-time highs. So if history repeats itself, guys, there is a good chance that what we could see maybe like today, or for like maybe today or tomorrow, we might get this like final little bit of a push up to this 50-day, and then we reject coming into the FOMC, maybe to make like a higher low, and then we get a dovish Powell. Hey, they could even, announce 50 basis point cut. I'm not holding my breath for that, guys. We have three scenarios. Obviously, the Fed cannot cut rates at all. The second is the Fed can cut rates, but they can do it in a way where it's only 25 basis point, but he doesn't really come out very dovish or very optimistic, and then the markets will nuke. And then he could come out very dovish, 25 basis point, and I think the market would rally behind that. But if we get a 50, the markets are going to go absolutely to Valhalla, because it's not being priced in right now. The 50 rate cut is being priced in currently. So with that being said, let's look on the 4 hour. We did break above this 50 again yesterday. We did retest it twice as support, which looks pretty good. We're a little bit above it. We're waiting for the US market to open. So if I go on the 1 minute chart, just kind of show you guys, we got like this little bit of wonkiness kind of going on right now. Of course, I thought we were going to get a little bit of a move up when we had this right here. But again, we're kind of looking at, we have a couple of different sessions that are ending right now. So if you ever want to see the sessions and when they end, come into your indicators on TradingView, type in FX market sessions, and it's going to show you the New York session technically just began. All right. And then you can see which session is actually going to be ending here soon, which I think is going to be the London. So you can see this was the end of the Asian session right here. So if I back this up, you can see, let me move this down. So you got Tokyo, you got London. All right. And then from London, you get New York. and that one stays open till obviously 4:30 until the traditional markets close. Obviously, the US stock market doesn't open for a little while, but this is just the first bit of motion for the day. Again, guys, it is Mondays. I'm usually not a big fan of Mondays because Mondays usually can, open up with a dump, but we've also had really good Mondays. I am in the camp right now that I'm still taking things one day at a time. I do think that market makers are definitely going to allow the markets to come back up and at least sweep some of this liquidity, just because I know and have a deep understanding of how these markets work, specifically with the market makers and the different leverage platforms that are, allowing guys to do perpetual trading with very, very high leverage. This is a very, very weird kind of dynamic between these two. And when you have there's so much money up here, guys, and you have to think about it logically, there's like 20 billion bucks up here. And if they don't want to let nobody take out any very, very high leverage longs without rinsing them, do you think they're just going to let all this liquidity just rotate and just roll down and let these guys keep printing these shorts? No, I think they have to flip the market around in as such where they're going to have to scare these guys. They're going to have to liquidate them, or they're going to have to make them think that we are going to actually make a new high, where they're going to close out their shorts early, and they're going to do it in a way that by the time they sweep the liquidity, they're going to, I think, drop it back down just as fast, because they don't want to give anybody that forte or the opportunity to reopen up shorts. People have had a long time to open up shorts. I mean, people you've had since October 7th, honestly, to open up a short. So if you were wanting to open up shorts, you're probably in it right now. With that being said, guys, I'm taking things one day at a time. Still looking at Bitcoin dominance. It's still below our 50-day. It still looks good. I told you, I said, I think we're going to do a double. I think we're going to tap this thing twice, which we did. You can see both times right here where we've come up onto this 50-day and we've rejected. Looks good. USDT dominance is still kind of getting us we needed to break down. I don't really like this way it looks right now. I kind of want to see some force, because I also don't want this thing to potentially be making kind of like a bull pendant either, where it's kind of up here and then it breaks out and then it makes another high. And if it breaks above this level, guys, it's not going to be a good thing. It's already at a level where it needs to start really coming down. It looks like it is, but we're obviously monitoring this very closely. Looking at TradFi markets, guys, you always want to keep an eye on that. They look pretty good. They've had both pretty good moves over the night last night, which is also a good indication to me which direction I think the TradFi markets are actually going to go to. Because I watch TradFi and futures specifically, because if futures starts pumping, it's usually a good indication which direction the stock market's going to go the following day. All right. And both of these look really good right now. They look really strong, well above their 50s. They're definitely in confirmed uptrends. There's nothing to be bearish about with that. And I think as long as these things continue to go up, the business cycle stays intact, I think crypto and Bitcoin is going to continue to make new all-time highs. I think it's just going to continue to follow with it. And when this thing finally decides that it's done and it's going to go through a 10, 20, 30% correction, that's when the crypto market's going to go through through its actual bear market, guys. With that being said, keep your notifications on. We're obviously monitoring everything very closely. I will, inform you guys if I see anything crazy. One thing I did see today, which was pretty interesting, which was Ondo made a big move. It looks like the SEC finally closed their case. So Ondo actually made not only a big move, but you can see it's attempting to break out of this long-awaited trend line that it's basically been finding resistance on. So you can see bounce, rejection. And it looked like we broke through. But again, what is important right now is we're still holding above the 50. Ondo has been one of the ones that's been underperforming in my portfolio a little bit. But Ondo is a very strong project. It is the RWA project. I'm extremely bullish on RWA. Guys, all you have to do is just go see what Larry Fink and the CEO from Coinbase were talking about the other day. BlackRock, Coinbase on stage together. Larry Fink, Brian from Coinbase, saying tokenization of everything's going to be tokenized. So it's kind of a no-brainer, guys. With that being said, keep your notifications on. We'll talk soon. Also, if you're looking to learn how to do this on a deep level, you're not just trying to be tossed into one of these call rooms, you're not just trying to be tossed into one of these communities where there's 5,000 people and you feel like a fly on the wall. If you want to band together with a small group of entrepreneurs that are all looking to really outperform this market, at a deep understanding? Click the link below. We'll see you inside.